Hey, what's going on? You're now tuned in to PVD Hart Gaming. I'm Brandon, and today I'm joined by Laney Hart, one half of Geek by Hart. Laney, thanks for coming on the show.
Yes. Nah,
Uh,
thank you for having me, man.
no
What's
doubt.
good? What's good? How are you?
I know that you're a big horror fan and you're a big gaming fan, so we started this gaming crossover, so I wanted to kick the thing off, you know what I mean, and have some of my the community come on the show and talk about horror and gaming, you know what I mean? It's just things that we love,
Yes,
So, um,
yes, absolutely. Like we actually just saw 28 weeks, years later,
yeah,
and earlier today we did our review. So
yeah. What did you think of it?
so this is actually going to probably be our longest review ever because we
Yeah.
were going back and forth. Like it's a little bit polarizing.
Mm-hmm.
And not just for the last 5 minutes. You had two distinct stories. You
Yep.
had a slower pace, a story as far as adding infected and horror elements to it. And then you had the last 5 minutes when you had a cross of like Targaryens, a cross of the crazy kid from Wrong Turn with the bowl cut hair,
Yep.
Tri Mafia, okay, and Power Rangers. Like all of it came
Power
into
Rangers.
play, and I don't know exactly if it works
Hmm.
and where they're going with it. So I don't know.
Yeah, that was one thing at the end. I just sat there and I was just like, okay, I don't know either. I don't know where they're going, but I'm definitely down to check it out. You know what I mean? But I know this
Okay.
this edition was definitely different from the other two films, and so it kind of let me like I was sitting there thinking like, oh man, I don't know about this. You know what I mean? But we'll see.
You and my husband are in the same camp.
Hmm.
He's a bit skeptical as well. And I was like, I might give it some grace. 'Cause I think they're
Yeah.
building towards something.
Yeah, I think so
What?
too. So, hopefully, but today we're going to get into the Switch 2, which has been a big topic of the gaming community, hate it or love it. But can you first tell the
Mhm.
listeners about Geek by Heart?
So I only got one at launch. So I
Hmm.
almost feel like it's fair and unfair for me to judge, right? Because if you're talking about it as far as the power behind it, I don't think that Mario Kart is the only thing that you should be able to judge it on.
Yeah, definitely.
When I was thinking about it at first, I was like, oh no, this is really powerful.
Hmm.
I'm a Legend of Zelda fan. I played Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom on obviously the first Switch. And now I'm actually starting to stream Breath of the Wild and then gonna stream Tears of the Kingdom on the second one.
Okay.
And the loading time and the way that it interacts with some of the things that made it glitchy is almost non-existent.
Yeah,
But that's still a Switch One game.
exactly.
Now, bringing it over into Switch 2, the game that I have is Mario Kart World. You definitely can see that it's a bigger game.
Hmm.
And it's also holding more players at once, and I do not feel lag. I didn't go online with that yet. So now I need to go online with it to see, especially if we can get into them 24, them people that got 24
Friends.
years, right? You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? That's going to make it lag as well.
Yeah,
But from what I've seen so far, I do like it. And I do think that it is more powerful than Switch 2. I
yeah.
mean Switch 1.
Oh, it definitely is. Yeah, I've been heavy on that Mario Kart knockout. So it's fun, you know what I mean? So we got to get a game in that, you know what I mean? Because my buddy, he got the system too. He hasn't had a game system since PS4. So like starting this
Okay.
little gaming thing, like for me, I had every system, So for him getting into gaming, it's just like it's whole different. He didn't have the Switch one, so then I end up getting him the Switch 2. And so he's
Mhm.
been playing Mario Kart World and a few other horror games. So trying to play catch up on stuff that he hasn't been, brushing up on. So we'll see.
So it's funny you said that because I recently abandoned, I ain't gonna hold you,
Hmm.
Little Nightmares 1. And part of the reason why was because the loading time in between deaths was killing me,
Yeah.
especially streaming it.
Hmm.
So I actually need to look and see if that loading time is something that is affected now if you
Yeah.
played on the Switch too.
Yeah. A lot of games, the loading time has definitely changed because I played the Alien Isolation. Like, going back to that and playing, you're just like, damn, like there's so many pieces of things like that I missed, you know what I mean? And then so like you said about the power too, a lot of third party games came out, and was it Cyberpunk? You know what I mean? So a lot of people were just
Mhm.
like, I don't want to get that again because I already had that on like the PS5, PS4, or whatever. But for me, I
Mhm.
had to go pick that up because I need to know what this system is capable of. You know what I mean? And so I think that Cyberpunk definitely shows you what it can handle.
I didn't know that Alien Isolation was on Switch.
Mm. What was it? It was it
I ain't
the
gonna be. I'm a punk. I'm not gonna play that.
oh
Mm-mm.
was it? It was it Alien? It was an Alien. The last one. What was it? I
That's
said
Isolation.
Isolation wrong, huh?
That's Isolation. That's the last one. We're not
Okay.
talking about Colonial Marines. We're not talking about that.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's on there. So because I haven't even played that on the other systems. I remember it was on like PS4, and I'm like, I don't know. And then so I picked it up on the Switch because when I had the OLED, I was like, all right, I'm gonna play this. And then so I kind of like backed off. I didn't finish it. So now I'm gonna go back on the Switch too. You know what I mean? And so I'm gonna finish crack out on that and finish that up. So because there's a lot of hard titles on the Switch, like you said, Little Nightmares. That's definitely something that's on my list to kind of like, try out because I have it on the, on other systems, but I think it came up as like one of the free games on
Yes.
probably like a PlayStation or something like that, but I never played it. So,
But yeah,
mm,
yeah. I bought it for the Switch, and then after I found out that I bought it, it was like, oh no, it's free on if you have Game Pass on
yeah,
whatever. So it is on one of them.
yeah. Now
And the
tell us,
second one is out. Third one's coming out in
mm,
December, I think.
all
December
right. Yeah.
this year. I know.
I gotta get that wish list, start checking some games so I can get up to date with them. But tell me a little bit about Geek by Heart. How'd that get started?
Oh man, so I mean, Geek by Heart is actually our last name.
Mm-hmm.
Um, our last name, my married last name is Hart, Hart.
Mm.
And then both me and my husband are just we're blurs, and
Yep.
we didn't know blurred until way after we created Geek by Heart because it might have been Blur by Heart, but
Okay.
it just for us. He and I both are heavily into like being a blurred.
Yep.
I love horror. I love video games. I have loved video games since I was a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Jay loves to play video games as well. He loves to read the comics. Um, I'm just starting to get into like reading because I just don't have the time.
Yeah.
But this is the first summer off that I've had in like 9 years, and I am
There you
looking
go.
forward to it. Um, so like the first thing that's on my reading list is actually Bitterroot. I already started reading Bitterroot, but I don't have time to actually read it.
Mm.
My homegirl Room Full of Words covered that on her channel, along with Navy Montel and The Long Walk Home. No,
Okay.
The Long Walk, excuse me,
Yep.
by Stephen
Stephen
King,
King.
because that movie's coming out.
Yep.
And I heard nothing but good things about that book.
Yeah, it's a great book. Definitely looking forward to like what they're putting on the screen because I seen the trailer. Have you seen the trailer yet or no? Or are you trying to stay
We
away from
covered
it?
it. Yep,
All
we
right.
covered
So
it.
yeah, so definitely I'm looking forward to that.
It doesn't it doesn't give away
No.
because that was one why like there was a lot of dialogue in the comments because it was like we get it's dystopian, got it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like they're just walking, and we kind of said that, and everyone who was like who saw it in the comments like no,
Mm.
this is a good book, read it, it's much more than what it's showing, it's only showing a tip of the iceberg. I was like all right,
Yep.
and there was way too many people that were like to read it. I'm like okay, it's on the
Yeah.
reading list.
Nah, definitely looking forward to that. But like you brought up the blurred community. You know what I mean? Just like you guys, you didn't know about it. I just found out about it probably around like two two years ago. You know what I mean? And so
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of my friends, you know what I mean, in this horror community, they push it heavy and then so I started learning a little bit more about it. I'm like, oh shit, like you know what I mean? Like this is what I'm into. I didn't know what the term was. But I just went to BlurredCon this past, the last event for the Thriller event that they had. So, did you
I don't know
go?
how we. Yes,
All
we
right.
were there. We were there. So no, we got to link up. Me,
Yeah.
you, Dave, Jay next time. This is my
Yeah.
fourth year.
Okay. Yeah, so it was definitely dope because a lot of the horror community, like Zero Gravity, Girl That's Scary, they had the panel over there. And so I went down, to kind of support everybody because it was just like, all right, I wanted to go check this out, you know what I mean? So I went down and I had the press pass, but I was only able to go down for Sunday. So I don't know if you were there Sunday.
I left maybe about 12.
Okay.
because we both had to work the next day. We couldn't take off.
Yeah, because what happened was I was planning on going down, but I had a death in the family, and so that's what pushed me to go even more because I had gone down to Baltimore, and then so I was like, my boy was telling me he was like, "Yo, just come to BlurredCon." And I was like, "All right, like how far away is it from there?" And I just looked. He gave me the directions, and I plugged it into the GPS. I'm like, "Yo, it's only an hour away. I'm gonna come down, check it out." And then so
Oh,
I hit up the BlurredCon. I was like, I need a press pass for the day. You know what I mean? They sent that, got it all set and was able to check it out. And then definitely next year, I'm looking forward to it. So, yeah, I missed the whole thing with Janelle Monáe and everyone and the whole, um,
it's
yeah, I
sad.
missed it. And the Tony Todd tribute too. So I was just like, ah, man. But I was able to go check it out, get a feel for it. And I'm definitely going to go back next year. So, what
That's
did,
dope. Listen, it is the HBCU homecoming of like
mm,
blurred for blurred.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like it is so cool. And honestly, it's so funny because they used to have it consistently in the summertime. This is the first year that they did it in March.
mm,
And it was a little bit less people. And I actually liked it that way because it'd be crowded and it'd be
yeah,
hot. Because it usually is in July. Oh my
mm-hmm,
God. How it feels on the East Coast, how it feels right now
yeah,
is exactly how it feels at BlurCon.
mm,
So, but yeah, yeah, I it is one of my favorite things to do.
yeah. Now, are you in the DC area? Where you from?
Jersey.
Okay, Jersey. All right, so that's not a bad ride for you either. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's dope. Um, so
Yeah.
you guys love the live stream, you know what I mean? Do some little commentary, for the trailers and everything like that. What got you guys into that?
Um, it's just it was our love for this. Like
Mm-hmm.
the stuff that you see us doing in trailer reviews and movie
Yep.
reviews is the stuff that we talk about on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And it was like, why not just put it into a YouTube channel and do that? It felt like it was just a natural progression of what we are at home.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like if I saw something, we'll talk about it. If we both saw something, we'll talk about it. We'll debate it. And it just was like, why not? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it kind of was like, all right, we talked about it. We talked about it. Jay's a graphic designer, so like he does everything in house.
Okay.
So that just made it, even more like made sense. I think our first video was Infinity War. We covered Infinity War,
Mm.
and we stopped around maybe 2020, I think probably because of COVID.
Yep.
Then came back around 2021. Feel like that I feel like it was Army. No, it was Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Okay.
It was Justice League that came back. And then we just kind of hit the ground. Like there were times where we had to kind of pause, but then like
Mm-hmm.
at least for like the last 6 months, we were like, if we're gonna do it, let's do it. You know what I mean? Because it's not for like trying to be like famous or whatever. It's more because like, yo, this is what we love.
Yeah, you love it.
And can we do what we love? You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like if we're able to make money just to do what we love,
Exactly. It's the
like
same.
doing this, if we were able to like draw big ass crowds and
Mm-hmm.
get paid, I would do it in a heartbeat every
Yeah.
day.
Nah, that's dope. See, that was the thing for us. We started this off in like 2018. We wanted to get a podcast and everything going, but it was just like the time. Like it was three of us, and we just had different schedules, and it never like linked out. And then so I was just like, man, I don't care. Like I'm starting this up, and so like I pushed it, and then I just like created the shit and put it on, and it was just like, all right, this is what we're doing. And we started with like movie nights and stuff, so making a community in our hometown and then we put on our social
Mhm.
media and then it just kind of like took off. You know what I mean? And then we're like, all right, let just like how you guys like you love something and then so everybody gravitates towards it and it was just like, all right, these people like what we're talking about and what we're doing. Like, all right, we got to do this. And then around COVID is where we had the opportunity to create this podcast, you know what I mean, and put it together. And f
Mm.
from there on, it was just like we just had so many interviews. We had Tony Todd on, big names, even like a lot of directors and everybody coming. So it's just like, all right, it's clicking. And like you said, we were able to transform this into a business. So we're an LLC now. And so like we're getting all these, promotional
Oh,
things and
we.
doing things. And so, and
Let's
it's just like,
go.
wow, like, you know what I mean? Like we're really getting paid at times to sit there and do what we love and like push this, and have fun and then talk with people around the world that share the same love for us. That's dope. And so that's why I like to have, people from the community come on and like just talk with me about things like that because it's just so crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Like we had I Destroy from Shade 45 come on. Like, you know what I mean? And sit there and just
Okay.
talk about stuff like his love for horror and collecting stuff. You know what I mean? And so you never know who's
Yes.
watching. You never know who's watching. So keep grinding because like you just came across my feed. I'm like, all right, you know what I mean? This is I gotta have her on the show. You know what I mean? Gotta have her and Jay on the show. Jay couldn't make it tonight, but you know what I mean? Hopefully we can do something again.
He's actually doing our stuff. Yeah. So
Yep.
I mean, listen, anytime you want to chop it up,
Yep.
we come back. I'm like, Jay, you gotta come through.
Yeah, definitely. So, talking about gaming and stuff. So, what are your favorite games? What got you into gaming?
Legend of Zelda.
Zelda?
So my brother had these not Super Nintendo. He had the original Nintendo,
Yep.
and I just used to watch him play.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it got to the point where I was like, I want to have my own. Mom bought me a Super Nintendo. I think Legend of Zelda Link to the Past came with it. If it didn't come with it, that's the one I got. No, Super Mario Bros. Came with
Yeah.
it. But yeah, Link to the Past was one of the first games that I completed, and I never looked back. I love the Legend of Zelda game series. However, I also love the God of War series.
Oh, yep.
Um, I literally just completed Ragnarok. I'm
Mm.
not proud, but
Yep.
I literally just completed Ragnarok like 2 months ago. Um, I I am a big Harry Potter nerd, so
Mm-hmm.
Hogwarts Legacy, I love that game too. Um, I love Gears of War as well. Um, and Sound Hill.
Yep.
Um, so I just finished Sound Hill 2 remake
Okay.
not too long ago. I'm gonna be looking forward to Sound Hill F. I think that's gonna be scary as hell.
Mm.
And I'm not sure if I'm ready for it, but I'm gonna try. Um, so yeah, yeah. I mean, those are the franchises that I gravitate towards. Um, like I said, I just finished Little Nightmares, but the DLC I wasn't vibing with, and it got to a
No.
point where it felt like it was going to be actually like the exploration of Resident Evil, where I was like, yeah, that's not my kind of gameplay. So
Yep.
I kind of was like, yeah, I'm good. But I'm trying to get out of those things that I just said because those are really well established IPs, but there's so much more to gaming.
Yeah. And that was the thing too. Just like you said, we're in like gaming now. I'm into like the handheld modes because it's like sometimes I just don't have that time. I'm always on the go. I don't have time to like sit in front of the TV. And so that's why the Switch is like always like kind of good for me. I can just pick it up, play around and then like put it back down and then just go on my way. But I picked
Yep.
up the PlayStation Portal a couple months ago. And then so just messing around with that, I got into Final Fantasy. You know what I mean? And like Final Fantasy, the remakes, and I'm like, oh damn! I'm like, I don't know how I missed these games. Like I never played those games before, but it was just like the storytelling and everything that just changed everything. I was just like, damn! Like until now, just going back and kind of like getting to certain games that I missed. I'm just like, oh man, because I took a break too. You know what I mean? But now, you know what I mean? I got kids and stuff, so they're into it here and there. So I don't know, but definitely the Switch 2 and everything the original Switch had got me back into gaming a little bit more, just having that time to do things but I don't know. The Switch 2 has been facing a lot of backlash since the price was announced and given the economic difficulties many people are facing, what is your opinion on the Switch 2 prices?
To be honest with you, I'm a little bit more concerned about the games than the
Hmm.
thing. Like, I mean, you remember when the PS3 came out? I think the PS3 came out at 600, if I'm
6.
not mistaken,
Yep,
right?
it was.
So like we've we've always been at the very least, I would say, since that generation of consoles.
Hmm.
Because obviously, I don't believe that the Super Nintendo was 600. I think it might have been like 300, but
3.
I was like 12. I don't remember.
Hmm.
Um, but I do remember the PS3 because that was one of the first. I think it was the first one I actually bought. I saved up for that shit.
Yeah.
Um, it's been consistent. It's been anywhere between 340, 49 and
Mm-hmm.
basically 500. Depending on what you get with it, depending on what games you're getting. So I think more the longevity is of like you giving us quality games,
Yeah.
but still at 80 and $90,
Mm-hmm.
like that hurts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we came from a time where we was getting it for 39, 49.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was going to 39. And the fact that you still have like Nintendo exclusives like Breath of the Wild, even used is still like 59
Yeah, they don't
or
drop.
54.
They don't drop used.
Exactly. Come on. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's an awesome game, but let's be serious. It's now been 8 years
Yep.
or about to be 8 years, and you're still not dropping that price. Or your Mario, Kart or Mario Party games, things of that nature,
Mm-hmm.
those don't drop down. I'm more concerned about that
Yeah.
because if you can always save up for that one-time price, but you're always now, what was it going to be, $100 come
Yeah.
when? Very soon. I mean, GTA is going to be dropping probably next year. Is that going to be $100?
They're
You know what
saying
I'm
maybe
saying?
like 120 or something, 150 mark. I don't know.
My my point.
Mm-hmm.
My point. I'm more concerned about the cost of the games than it is the consoles.
Yeah, because that's the thing. When we were posting about the Switch too, kind of like during the hype of everything, we were getting a lot of backlash. People saying like putting posts like, "Oh, you guys are like trying to just go for high price games and systems and stuff like that. Nintendo doesn't care about people." And then you look at certain things. I'm like, it depends on who you're talking to. You know what I mean? Like I understand for people that are having hard times right now, but at the same time, the OLED was 350, right? It was around that price, 350. And then so now you look at it, now you're from Nintendo's point of view, it's $100 more. You know what I mean? Because the base system is
Mhm.
450. And then with Mario Kart bundle was 500. You know what I mean? And they gave you a break because you
Mhm.
got the game for 50. And
Yeah,
so like you look at those things and it's just like, you're in the middle because, like we're fortunate enough to have those things and have the money to buy these things, but I also, I feel bad for the other people, but it's like it depends on how the conversation's coming in. Like you're the bad guy for supporting them, you know?
I agree with what you're saying, and it's just like
Yeah.
you're. This is gonna sound very callous, so I don't mean for it to sound callous.
Hmm.
You're going to pay for your hobby.
Yeah.
Like for instance, a couple like few years back, my daughter was into competition cheerleading. That was a buck
Yeah.
between her nice costume, like her nice
Hmm.
cheerleading outfit. Okay, we're talking about I think it was 100 to 150, and then not only for the monthly fee, but then for the competition fees,
Yeah.
it was close to 1,000 before you blinked.
Yeah.
And luckily, they gave us the opportunity to do fundraising so that offset the cost. And I was penny pinching and begging. But again, when you get into a hobby, you're putting money somewhere.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So like I think it's about, again, the consoles is going to be the console. You cannot have progress in your technology without paying for the upgrade.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's look at our cars and things of that nature. Hybrids and electrics are more because of the technology than
Mhm.
you have your regular gas guzzlers. It's everywhere. You When people just put it on gaming, they're not putting it to other things that we take for granted that is in our everyday life that we do all the time or we make exceptions for all the time. You're
Mhm.
just saying that because it's gaming and it doesn't has to be. And for people that's maybe even their livelihood, they'll put that money out in a minute. You got your
Yeah.
big streamers, if that's their livelihood, they're gonna put that out for a minute because they're getting it back, you
Exactly.
know? So I think that it is valid, but that is also inflation.
Exactly.
So, like I said, I don't want to be callous. I really don't want to be callous, but let's put into perspective, like this is not the only thing that over time is rising. I
Hmm.
think that we need to also have that conversation about us being paid as what we do, whether it be for this or whether it be for, anyone who has a 9 to 5 or your entrepreneurial things. Like that also is a conversation because if you were getting paid the way you should,
Hmm.
then maybe these things would not feel the way they do.
Yeah. Because I remember
So
Doug Bowser had put out, a statement saying, hey, if this is not for you, we're still keeping the Switch 1 alive, and a lot of people took that as a negative comment, but then it's like, no, the regular Switch is still good, you know what I mean? But it just,
yeah, so you can't have it both ways because then if you would have been like, okay, we're going to dead
hmm.
support for the Switch One. Now,
Yep,
granted, the Switch One has had a nice lifetime. You're talking about 8 years.
yep,
You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna dead automatically. Then that means if you want to play our games, you have to now put out for this Switch 2. People are gonna be tight about that too. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? You can't have it both ways on like backwards compatibility because then you don't want it to be backwards compatible,
hmm,
or you don't want support for the Switch One, where that, especially for Nintendo, that is a very kid friendly system.
yeah,
So you can't have it both ways. Just be fair. Just be
yeah,
fair and logical. That's all I'm asking.
hmm,
And in all honesty, for me, the Switch and the Switch 2 are two things in one. It is an at-home gaming console, but it's an on-the-go gaming console.
exactly,
It's gonna take really good technology to make that work.
hmm,
Whereas you bought the Switch, I mean not Switch Portable, you bought the either PSP. I know you didn't say that, but PSP, if you're thinking back about it, or now the portable you're talking about,
yep,
that's a whole system that you're putting an additional money for.
yeah.
Does that also do the PS5 and PS4 games as well, or is that separate disc? Because I don't know about that.
For the Portal.
Yeah.
So the Portal is basically a mirror system. You have to have the PS5 for it. And so now, like say if I'm out of town or whatever, you know what I mean? I'm out of town and I'm able to sit there and just, you know, mirror whatever's at my home for the PlayStation 5.
Oh, cloud.
Yeah, you could do it from cloud gaming. So it's like that. So it got a lot of hate on it when it first came out because even for me, I was just like, that's not for me. But then it was just like, all right, well, let me try this out. You know what I mean? I can sit there and say it's not for me, but let me at least try it out. And so I tried it out and I was like, all right, this isn't as bad as I thought. So if you have a certain, membership, you can play those cloud gamings that's inside there. But a lot of people wish that you can play your digital library on the go, but you can't though. You know what I mean? But it's just showing what they're going to sit there and try to make in a few years because they're coming for Nintendo. You know what I mean? So,
And Nintendo perfected it right now.
no, yeah,
For that,
definitely.
you can't touch it.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You can't touch it. So,
Yeah,
but I hear it's like I said, it's not without the arguments are not without merit, but just be fair about both sides of it, of
yeah.
understanding like it's a well-rounded thought process. It's not just a one-sided thought process.
Hmm. So now with this system, we were also able to get a midnight release for the Switch 2, which definitely shocked me because I didn't think we was going to get something like that. I think the last midnight release that I had for a game system was Xbox 360. How surprised was you to see that retailers were going to head in that direction?
I was so happy because here's the thing. When I first heard about them dropping Switch 2,
Hmm.
then they were like, oh, they're not going to because of tariffs. So I stopped paying attention to it. And I think maybe a week or two before it actually dropped, um, I was like, I heard that no, they're dropping it. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I can't get I can't get a pre-order. It's what it is. So I'm there with my coworkers. We're gearing up for our end of year party. And like the day before that, they're like, yo, I heard that if you go to GameStop,
Hmm.
if they still have some, you gotta drop it, but you can get it. All
Yep.
right. It's like, all right, I'm just gonna I'm gonna charge it and wince.
Yep.
So, but nobody had it, at least far as I knew. So I just still was trying to just call around. The
Yep.
day of, we talking about 9:45 p.m. One that's like maybe I would say 15 miles away from where I live. They were like, yeah, we got it. And I'm at the party. I'm in Staten Island. I'm at the party. I'm like, yo, I gotta go. I gotta go. Because they said if you get there by 11
Yep.
and we still got it, good. You just gotta make sure that you paid off. It's not like you whatever. All right, fine. Got there like 10:45 and boom, got it. All right, cool. So then as soon as I got out, because I think it took about 15 minutes, there was a line in front of me. By the time I got out, the line started for the 12 o'clock release. I was like, yeah, I'm not standing in that.
Hmm.
And so I just sat in my car and I was like, I will get it. I will get it, but I'm gonna sit in my car until that line diminishes. And that line diminished about 1:30
Okay.
and able to get it. And that's what you if you like if you saw my thing, my TikToks or whatever, that was
Yep.
where that was. Like I finally got into the store. I was like, it's 1:30. Like I
Yep.
remember how I felt like at Deathly Hollows 2.
Mm.
When Deathly Hollows 2 came out, I didn't get the pre-sale, but they started doing midnight releases. So I remember getting it at like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Mm.
I was excited about it. Same kind of excitement. Actually, the 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 sixth book, freaking oh God, Half Blood Prince.
Okay.
At first, I was like, when I started the Harry Potter thing, I knew it from a friend. She started me out in 2002. So by the time like Order of Phoenix came out, I was like, okay, I'll get it or whatever. By the time Half Blood Prince came out, I was like, I'm not gonna pay to get the hard copy, and I'm not gonna wait at midnight. I paid for the hard copy, got it at midnight. It is, and
There
I
you
did it
go.
for the seventh one. So
Yep.
like it was that kind of excitement
Mm.
that like I felt like this is what it is to be a nerd, to be excited about something at
Hmm.
12 o'clock at night. No, I take that back. I did the same thing for Tears of the Kingdom. I got Tears
Okay.
of the Kingdom at 12 o'clock at night too.
All right. They did.
That
I didn't know they did
if
that.
my daughter's right next to me, I'm like, as a reminder, like she was with me.
Mm.
I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I think it's good for the culture. I think it's good for like, geek culture to
Hmm.
have these things, to build up excitement about it. Like these are like the tales that you have that you can, talk to other people about and film now because now
Yeah.
everything is about social media, you know?
Hmm. Nah, that's dope.
It's fun.
Uh, Now that you had the system, for a few weeks now, how do you feel overall about the performance? What are the key features that you enjoy and dislike about the system so far?
I'll be honest with you, I haven't tapped into their biggest new features, right?
Hmm.
I don't have the camera. I haven't used the voice chat yet. I'm waiting for the summertime to kind of do those things so I can have actually time to hook it up, see
Mm.
how it works, things of nature. Um, but I mean, as far as the performance, I'm happy with the performance. Again, if you are a Legend of Zelda fan, Breath of the Wild, there is if at the very least everybody knows once you hit the hidden the Lost Forest, it staggers badly. The rate is horrible.
Mhm.
You don't have that problem in this one, even with the upgraded version. You
Yeah,
don't have that problem with that. Um, I haven't started to listen to the voice memories or whatever, even though I'm starting to play through. So like I said, to those minute things, I haven't started yet. School last day is Friday. So starting next week, I'm gonna start getting into that. As far as it being bigger, that little bit of expansion has helped.
oh, definitely.
See my glasses, the eyes is not what it used to be. I actually don't mind playing it as a handheld now, whereas I wasn't that crazy about playing it as a handheld.
Exactly.
That big screen makes a difference.
Yeah, it definitely does.
And again, the biggest thing in the world, but it does make a difference.
Mm.
Um, Also like the Joy
Joy-Cons.
Cons. Yep.
Yep.
Um, and so I like that. I have adult hands, so yeah.
Nah, yeah, definitely. The screen definitely makes it better to play in like that kickstand mode because I'll play with the Pro controller here and there like that because and so the Joy-Cons. Like I like them, but like I had a pair on the OLED ones. They're called the MOBA pads. They're from
Mhm.
Japan, so those things are serious. So if you go back and you still want to play the original Switch, definitely pick up the MOBA pads because they're thicker.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely look into that. Laney, thank you so much for coming on. Can you tell the listeners where they can find you on social media?
Now, first of all, thank you for coming on, for having me on. I'm sorry I
Mm,
missed David, and I'm sorry that Jake had to go. So we know we got to do
yeah,
this again so we could have all four of us together.
yeah,
But yes, you can find me and Jay at Geek by Heart. That is GeekByHart. That is on IG, that is on Twitch, that is on TikTok, and that is on our main thing that we do is on YouTube. You can find us doing movie reviews and trailer reviews on YouTube. We are trying to actually like expand even just about our regular lives as
yeah.
a blurred couple. Because I feel like we don't have a lot of that. We do have some great ones
Mm.
like Afro Cocoa Puffs and I never say this man's name right. Sixth grade to but y'all know who I'm talking about. Y'all know who I'm talking about. But like I feel like we can add into that,
Oh,
right?
definitely.
So please look up for that as well. Um, and yeah, I stream on Wednesday nights and Sunday nights for now, but I'm probably going to expand those times because I'm going into summer break because I'm an educator.
Okay.
So I'm going to summer break. So look out for that. I'll be posting that as to what I'm doing. And yeah, Jay's gonna be streaming as well. I think he's either gonna be streaming Gears of War 3 or the new Doom. Not sure which, but it's one of them soon.
Okay.
So yeah, look out for the socials, but definitely tune into us on YouTube.
Definitely. Yeah, I love that. Like you just brought that up, just going in different directions because that's why I wanted to create this gaming platform because it was just like, we're just getting pushed just for horror. I love more than just horror. I love horror gaming, everything,
Mhm.
but what I mean, I want to, expand things to another level, what I mean, because more opportunities to come, you know what I mean? So. But that's
Yes, yes.
why, it's a great situation. I'm definitely gonna look forward to all your live streams and I can't wait because I definitely want to pick up the new Doom, but I'm like, damn, I wish it came out for the Switch too. Like I'd rather play that in handheld mode, but I don't know.
Got you. Because I was about to say it's actually I think with Game Pass on Xbox.
Yeah. Is it on the
So
Game
yeah,
Pass? Okay.
almost positive it is. I'm almost positive because I'm almost positive he did not pick it up.
Okay.
So and he was playing the other day. So I'm almost positive it's on one of them. Um, but yeah, I mean, listen, and I think you would also be perfect to be on Blood's Eye View, especially during the horror season. We can
Hmm.
talk about horror and make them eat that horror up. So we're
I'm
gonna talk
down.
about that too. But yes, you can also see me on Blur's Eye View. You can see a lot of different awesome content creators. Starting with Chris Fury, the man of the wall, who's the creator of Blur's Eye View. Then you have Room
Hmm.
Full of Blurs, AB Montel, Will Mayhem, Whoop de freaking do. Oh my god, I know I'm missing people to Tafari TV because it's like eight of us.
Yep.
Um, But yeah, listen, like I said, Tuesdays and Thursdays, whoever I miss, you will see them there.
Yeah.
We talk about a lot of different things and just uplifting the blur culture one podcast night at a time.
For everybody that she may have missed, like just know you guys are all welcome on the show. Like I want to do a blurred episode too because it's like, like I said before, I only found out about it maybe 2.5 years ago. And so I want to sit there and kind of push that message, and push everything to everyone because it's something that we're definitely missing in the community. And so I definitely want to kind of back that because just that, like I said, that experience of me going down this past year, it meant a lot. You know what I mean? I think that it's not showcased enough. And so I want to make sure
Yes,
that I can help
yes.
push it a little bit more too, so everybody else that out there can know about it.
You know that there's other black cons out there.
Uh,
Um, you in the DMV area?
no, no, I'm in Rhode Island.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Well, if you want to go to the DMV area,
Yep.
in Virginia, I want to my phone's right in front of me. Atlantic Con is
Mm.
the next block. convention that I can remember off the top of my head. That's in August, and I want to say it's from the 8th to the 10th or the 9th to the 10th.
All right.
August, within that area of time. So we could talk about that later. But there's a lot
Mm.
of Black cons. That's actually on blurredeyeviews.org. His website, and also Hellspawn Cosplay, for Blurred and Powerful. His website has the Black conventions
Okay.
on there as well. So that's something that you would definitely want to see. If I could just do one shameless plug as well, Blurred Station is coming up soon. It is
Mm.
basically going to be the Blurred Netflix.
All
Okay. If
right.
you really want to see for us, by us stuff, whether it be science fiction, whether it be horror, whether it be action, Blur
Mm.
Station is going where it's going to be at. So all those things are actually in my bio on YouTube. Check them out, see if that's something that you would like, or people that are watching would like to check it out, because it is a definitely up and coming movement that I've seen behind the scenes. People put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into Blur
Mm.
Station. Happen.
Mm. I appreciate you putting me on game for a lot of stuff that I'm missing, you know what I mean? So because I'm definitely happy. Like I said, I'm happy that you told me because I'm gonna look forward to looking all that stuff up and to help, spread the word on all that. So thank you, Laney,
No
for
doubt.
coming on.
Thank
Definitely
you for
gonna have you
having me.
guys back on. Everybody go follow Geek by Heart. Next time I'll be back
Uh,
next week with another episode. Until then, take it easy. PVD Horror Gaming
is
out.